Yo, 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 fine people, beautiful people everywhere. Aiden Smith with the Paint Your Path podcast. We have a special guest, no Joel on this one, just because Myrna is my client. So figured do a little one on one. Myrna, she is from Colorado, Denver area, and she is the owner of Co Painting Pro, and she is a beast. Started with me early on in the coaching, one of my first clients. She came a long way. She made a post about it yesterday that was very heartfelt, had me tearing up. But how you doing?
I'm doing better than I was many years ago, I could say, but
Right.
there's always room to grow.
Yeah. No, you're doing great things. I love how you're so kind of engaged into the industry as well, and you're so willing to kind of help people, right? But before we get into any of that, kind of just give me the background on your story, how you came to want to open a painting business, what that looked like, and kind of how that evolved.
Honestly, I used to work kind of like a 9 to 5 job. I was still kind of my own boss at that time, but it was still like I was working for somebody. And I always had the vision of like, I want to work for myself. I want to be myself, something that's me. Um, Nobody can tell me what to do kind of thing. But
Yeah.
then it's like one day I just honestly woke up and I was like, I'm gonna be a painter. Like people don't believe that, Will I will I do that again? No, no, I would
Mhm.
never ever go into a business without knowing numbers, anything ever again.
Yeah.
It was a dream, in my vision of like, hey, starting something for my own and kind of thing. But yeah, I didn't want to be, I didn't want to work for somebody else's stream kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You had that dog in you and it needed to be unleashed, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh yes, yes. I've always had it since high school,
It's
since
like
high
the
school.
entrepreneurial flame, you know? It's like
Yes.
you want to do your own thing, you want to conquer the world, but it's just how to get there and X's and
Yeah.
O's.
Yeah.
But I know, you didn't just come out and like, oh, I want to be a painter and you were already set up to kind of make that happen. You kind of had to grind through a little bit in order to get where you're at, you know? So
Mhm.
what did that look like? What is your story? Because you have a powerful story. So I know a lot of people have been there to where things weren't looking so good, right? Family life, personal life was a little bit all over the place. What did that look like?
Basically, I went in with not knowing any numbers, and I really thought that like going into like the subcontracting thing was gonna be a thing for me, and it was not what I really thought it was. Like I said, going back to my history, I grew up, in a very difficult home, and it was just always issues with school, with this. I had problems with substances and I got 2 scholarships in high school, and I was just like, I was ready to go. My future was there. I was like taking college classes, and then made bad decisions because things were not doing good at home.
Yeah.
And I left to Mexico, and my life was just a mess. My life was a mess, but it was inside me. There was always like this spark. There was this idea, this pressure in my head where like, hey, if you keep screwing up, we're not going to make it where you want to be. Like, I kind of always had the vision of like, I envision myself having, it's not all about the money, but like having a lot of money, having good things, having nice
Yeah.
things, traveling around the world. I've always had that vision within myself. And like I said, um, working for somebody else for many years until I one day, I think the people that we worked around with, they had like painting backgrounds. Paint, like a lot of the guys that we've met and I like, oh, he's a painter and he's a
Right.
painter. One day I just honestly I was like, dude, I'm gonna be a painter. Like I want to paint a house. And it was crazy. I went to register my LLC, and my partner, part of owns the company. He's like, "You're crazy." He's like, "Hey, if we're gonna make this work, this is the way to go." I've already registered, and we started,
Yeah.
and we didn't know how to pay. We knew friends that were like in the painting industry that were like subcontracting, and they said, "Hey, you go to this company, they'll give you jobs." Oh my god! And I remember we had a really nice car, me and my other partner, and we sold it. We sold it for like $8,000, and part of it was to pay off things that we owed. And then I
Mm.
remember buying this old ass sprayer from this guy, like a couple of old ladders, and we are like, "We're on it! Like this is
This is
we're gonna,
it.
we're gonna be rich next week."
Making it happen.
Yeah, and it didn't work out as
And
we
you were
thought.
the one actually painting, right?
Oh yes, yes, yes. I was
Mm.
there painting, and I remember our first house. I was. It was on that weekend we were gonna start that following Monday with a really high popular painting company here,
Mm.
and they gave us um, a first house. And the guy, Eric, he no longer works for that company. He's like, "Are you guys sure you guys what you're doing?" I was like, "Yeah, we've been in the painting industry for blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh, cool. I'll see you Monday." I was like, "Bet." And then
Fake
I
it
was
till
like,
you make it.
"Yes, yes." And either way, I was determined to find somebody that knew what they were doing. We were just there to follow along.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy, Alexander. He showed up, and he's like, "You guys don't know how to paint, do you?" I was like, "No, we really don't. We really don't. But that's what you're here for. That's what we hired for."
Mm-hmm.
Our sprayer that didn't work, and we're like, "Oh my god!" So then this
Wow.
guy was like, "Hey, I have an old one at home. Let me go pick it up." And that's how we started. And then the guy Eric, the leader of the painting company for that job, was like, "Oh, you guys do great work, man. I can tell you guys been doing it this a long time." I was like, "Okay."
Mm.
But it was because of Alexander.
Yeah, that
Like,
one guy came in and just carried the
yes,
company.
yes. And we kept going and we kept going. And then it's like people kept
Yeah.
calling me, and it's like I'm painting. And then it's like, "Hey, your phone's ringing. I have to get off the ladder and answer the calls, like answer emails." And I was like, "Oh my goodness."
It's
It
a
was
lot.
nice at first being busy, but then it's like we had another job. And then it's like, we're waking up at 6 in the morning, and then to end our day at 7 at night,
Yeah.
and then
I think
having.
when you're like in the mix of it all, right, you're doing the actual work, you're running the business, answering the calls, growing, especially like early on, it's probably the most overwhelming because you know you're not pricing the jobs where you need to be. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're making that much money either. You're kind of just
Yes.
continuing. You're subbing for guys, and you know that the relationship, like, it's like every other week is jeopardized in some way.
Yeah.
That's the worst part is the
Yes.
starting. And that's why you mentioned, hey, I would never do this just jumping right into it. I need to know all the numbers, right? If I'm going to do a
Yeah.
business, like, I'm going to plan long term and think, okay, here are the X's and O's, here how is how I can do it better. And I think that's what most people don't get right initially. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. That was learning the hard way,
Mm,
And honestly, from a person that like grew up not having a lot of money, $2,000, $3,000 checks were like, "Oh
yeah.
my God, this is money. That's where the idea came from, to like changing your mentality of like you need to get used to seeing bigger numbers,
Yeah,
along
and
with
it's
you.
like a lot of people, they look at like chasing, not chasing the money, but making a lot of money as like a downturn, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's a negative connotation for me to want to make a lot, of money. That's crazy
Yes.
to me.
Oh yes.
You need
I
a
was
healthy relationship with money.
I 100%, the way you need to accept the way it comes in, it's the way it's going to come out, because
Yeah,
you need to put your expenses together every month, and it's like, this is how much it should come in, this is how much it should come out. People are scared of numbers, honestly.
yeah,
And one of the things that I wanted to mention is that Lucas launched an ad to kind of bring like Hispanic contractors, and a lot of Hispanic people called me. He's like, in Spanish, "Hey, Myrna, like, are you the owner?" It's like, "Hey, did that guy work for you?" They're probably scammers, they're probably scammers. I was like, "Where's your company at? Like, let's talk. Let's sit down and talk." And half of these people are so misinformed about money, and it's like, "Well, we have ten leads per week, like it means money's coming in." Just because you have 10 leads per week doesn't mean money's coming in.
correct.
Like, how are you going to get this job? How are you going to show up? Like, what does your system of sales look like? "Oh, well, I'm just going to send my nephew that speaks English. And I was like, it
Hmm.
doesn't work like that. It really, really doesn't work like that. And a lot of these people are like, "Oh, well," they want to skip those steps where like it takes to be there, and that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. And then it's like, I was there. I was doing that same thing that you were trying to do, thinking I was so obsessed with leads. I was so obsessed with recommendations and all that stuff. But all that stuff doesn't work if you don't have like a good sales process. Your numbers are not right. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
instead of you thinking that you're going to make 2,000 off that job, maybe you're going to lose 2,000 off that job.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to be a business person first whenever you're getting into a business, right? I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
because it can become a high paying job quick, and maybe not even high paying, right? Where you're doing everything. And it's like these dreams you have of being the entrepreneur, doing everything yourself, right? Kind of what you were alluding to. You can't even achieve if you're doing it that way. It's
No.
like you have to be the guy working on the business, not in the business. And if you never make that transition and delegate these tasks day to day and production and sales and all that, you won't get there, right? I mean, even you recently coming all from that, start where you were, you got a sales rep, you got real systems in place now. Talk to me about where you're at now and what that transition looked like.
I was really scared to let go of the side of that business, like dealing with customers. It took me so long to build like a system that worked for me, a system that may helped me connect with my clients because it all started with me having an accent. It all started with me like being woman, like fighting for that place on the table. And for so long in my head, I was like,
Yeah.
I want to fight for my chair. I want to be with the big guys. I want to be there. But it's like it doesn't work like that. In my head, it was like if I'm gonna fight that hard, I might as well build my own spot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's a male dominated industry. Not as much as anymore, I would think, as when I first started, but it's like a lot of men. I showed up in the construction sites and like, who are you? Who are you? Oh, it's like, who are you? And it's like, I'm the owner, I'm the owner. Like, you talk to me, you come to me, any issue,
Mm-hmm.
you come to me. And letting go part of that business, it's like the clients, um, it all starts with the system, like we mentioned as when you meet the clients, you know that there's a lot of system in place. The job itself,
Yeah.
the client itself, the painting job itself, the crew itself, the review that you're gonna get, and then the
Mm-hmm.
recommendation itself. So it's just one major goal that you're trying to achieve. Keep their business for a long time. Keep a crew happy. Where like they fight that bonus, and it's like
Yeah.
Jose, if they name your name on the review, you get a good bonus. Keep motivating them. It doesn't just stop from the beginning to the end. It's like we earned your business, and then we're gonna come back and paint your next project.
Yeah.
Um, and having a sales guy, it was tricky for me in my head because it was like, no, you can't talk to the customer like that. But it's like I had to step back and let my sales guy find his niche. Like, this is the way I connect to clients. This is the way I talk to clients. He's really good talking about like sports and like traveling. I'm
Yeah.
not good with that. And it's like I found that, and then it's like I don't even know where like this place in the world is. They're
Yeah.
talking about like fancy restaurants, like, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So he found his way in the client's home, like the way he connected with those clients. And it was hard because it's like he's talking back to these clients. I was like, who are you talking to? It's like, oh, Becky. I was like, who's Becky? He's like, oh, it's a wallpaper job that we completed. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't even involved, you know? And I was like, dang,
That's
I
a
was
good feeling.
not ready to let go of that. And it's like, when I started having extra time for myself, I was like anxious. I was like, am I supposed to have this time
Mm.
by myself? Like, my head is not like used to like being calm. I'm
Yeah.
always kind of on the go. I'm always like this estimate. I'm always kind of, I have to stop at this coffee shop so I can send this email, so I can this, and that. And it's like when he came in with the sales process that he like built for himself, and it was amazing. It was amazing because
Wow.
he closed a really huge job for a clubhouse wallpaper. I haven't been involved in the process. It's amazing. And it's like
Ah, damn.
he left for out of state for commercial fishing, and I have all this flow of clients calling me. It's like, where's Chris? Where's Chris? And I was like, this is crazy. I didn't even know I was painting a house in down in Littleton. I
Yeah.
didn't even know I was like doing wallpaper removal at this house. So I was like, oh my
That's a
God.
full circle moment, right?
Yes, yes. And I wasn't stressed out to be involved, but it was like a realization of like, dang, like it's so important to be organized. It's so important to buy back your time.
Yep.
It's very important to do that.
Change your perspective, I'm sure, right? To
Oh
where
yes,
you're looking at business differently altogether,
yes,
right?
oh yes. And the thing that, in my opinion, where it's a household between like the woman, basically, like in my case, my other partner, he's also in charge of the jobs, but I'm fully in charge of everything because I speak English. I'm more invested into like learning, and he's kind of more like, he took on that role of like watching the subcontracting crews and the crews and the people and the jobs. I kind of took on that role,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed, if he would have taken that role, it would be completely different. Like I had to build a company based on how I was responsible, because it was like, when I met you, like I was at 3 in the morning. I was watching videos at 3 in the morning, and I was like on
When you
YouTube,
met
like,
me, right?
yes, yes. I
Okay.
was like on YouTube, like it was Netflix. I was like, how to build this, how to do that, how to do
Yeah.
this. And it's like, and I one day I was like, I'm gonna go on TikTok. And I was like, I remember I searched up how to estimate an exterior of a home. And then I found you, and you were here with your cute little microphone, your little lace. And I was like, oh, dude, I was like, oh my God, this is similar to what a guy told me one day when I used to work here. He's like, you basically, you have your little cart to measure, you measure around the house and the substrate. And you were talking about like how to estimate, and then how to add 2 layers of codes, and then like the preparation that you
Yeah.
had to, how to charge. And I messaged you, and I was like, this guy's not answering. Like I messaged him 15 minutes ago, and he's taking forever. Let me go on Instagram.
Mind you, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, dude, if I can get a Zoom meeting here at 5 in the morning so he can tell me what's on.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I started looking through your videos, and I was like, this is some good information. And I started following you, and then I sent you a message on Instagram, and you replied the next day. And then I think we got on a call, and you're like, hey, this is the coaching program um that I offer. But then again, I went back to like, I don't have time to talk to Aiden because I have
Yeah.
to be at this job. I have to go prep a house for an interior painting so the sprayers can get there. And then I think I was thinking for it for like a week or 2 weeks. And then it's like you kept calling me, and it's like it turned into a marketing caller, but a little better.
I
But
was
I
a
was
good
like,
salesman.
yeah, like a good salesman, but better. And then I was like, when is Aiden gonna invite me to golf so he can convince me or something? This is one of those calls. And
Yeah.
I talked to my partner, and then I was like, hey, should we give this a try? And he was like, how much is the coaching? And I was like, this amount of money. And then it's like, oh my God. It was a big number for us back then
Sure. Hmm.
because we did not have any money to buy food. That's
Sure.
why. We were struggling. I didn't even have diapers that week, like money for diapers for my son. And he was like, we don't have money. We didn't even have like the money to pay our rent for that upcoming week. And then we were like, this is a lot. For us, it was a lot back then
Hmm.
because just how low we were in our life. We didn't have money for diapers. We didn't even have money for our rent. We were like, the rest is for gas. That's it, for gas, and it is what it is. We get paid until that following week, but that following week we'd already owe that check. We were already
Hmm.
having to pay Alexander, so it was like, dang, we're only gonna have like 250 left, you know. So here I am calling my landlord, like, hey, we're gonna be 7 day late. Don't worry, Myrna, don't worry. And it's like, in my head, and I was like, is this what success looks like? Is this what it looks like to be a painter? Because I don't want this. Like, I'd rather go back to my 9 to 5. Like, I was struggling, but not this bad.
Hmm.
And in my head, it crossed. I was like, I'm just going to sell my van. I'm just going to sell the ladders. I'm just going to sell everything. Like, I don't want this. Like, if I have to struggle this bad, I don't want this. And I think you called me that on a on an evening, and you told me, he's like, you have to do this, like this is what you have to do. And I was like, I'll call you right back. And then I was like, and I was I had a credit card, and I was so dead set on never using a credit card, just what I needed. And I was like, we could even, I was like, okay, $150 that we get to keep for ourselves for that following week, and I'm gonna pay that pay that
Yeah.
coaching program, and I paid it. And I remember we started that following week, and I remember um, showing late a couple of minutes here because I was fixing my hair, and I was like, hey, I
Yeah.
have to make it to Aiden's call. And you started teaching me all this, and I was like, oh my god, like this is this is where I need to start. It was like I was sad at the beginning because I was like, I should have never started like this. It should have never been like this.
Mm.
I should have never put my kid through that where he was like staying at my mom's like 13-hour days, 20-hour days at times because we were working late. And I was like, it hit me. It really hit me because I was like, the dream is there, but the mentality was just all over the place. And you started teaching me more, and I felt more guilt because I was like, there's so much stuff that I need to learn. There's so much time wasted that it's like I haven't been investing my time wisely. Instead of learning, I was doing this and that. And and I remember I got burnt out. I was like, it was coming. It was meant to happen. You know, cooking, cleaning, taking my kid to school, and then it's like they were calling me from this job, and it's like, hey, we need paint here. Hey, we need we need this, we need that, and it's like the painters didn't want to leave the job site because they were like, we're literally gonna be 30 minutes over there, and then like by the time Sharon Williams makes the paint, it's like half an hour, like 1 hour and a half lost.
Wow.
Like, bring us the paint, bring us this, and I was just going back and forth, and then doing estimates that were popping up here and there. And I was like, COVID hit. COVID freaking hit. And we were like, man, we were just, man, not up and forth. Um, yeah. And then it was just so frustrating. I was having like problems in my marriage, and it was just kind of like, when is this gonna stop? Like, why is it like that? And I was just thinking like, oh man, the way we did this, the way we did that, it's not coming together. It's
Mm.
I was just always looking for an answer that was just not there. And then I remember I took all your courses, and it was a moment of like realizing a lot of things. And I remember, and I'm guilty of this, I want to be completely honest with people. I didn't even take that course serious until like 3 to 6 months later, where I was like, Aiden is always right. I was a stubborn man, like this, being so stubborn of like growing. I didn't want to grow. I was avoiding learning. I was avoiding like the phase where it hurts to grow. I was avoiding the phase where like I had to sit down with myself and organize my company. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go through that. I didn't want to go through the boring stages of that. I didn't want to do that. And I circled back around. I started getting back into the group, and when we first started, and I was like, here we go again. Started getting more involved, and then you started with the coaching calls, and I was like, he's right. He's so right. And I remember when I got my first custom home, it was like a $50,000 home, I think, or 35. And I was so frustrated. And then you're like, add up the numbers how I told you on the coaching call. And I was like, I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna quit. Like, I'm just not. And you called me, you're like, what do you need help with? Like, and I
Hmm.
was like, okay, okay. And then you helped me write that letter, like get on that letter, like convince him why your brand is better than like Julio down the street. And I was like, you're right, you're right. I never wanted to go to that extra step. I was just so used to rejection. I was so used to like, this is where I'm comfortable with. I was just scared of not getting out there. And I think I started watching the videos again, and I was like, oh my God, this is the answer that I've been waiting for, like how to put you know, my company together. I didn't want to be stuck in that subcontractor crew phase all the time because,
Sure.
like, as Hispanic, like the majority of Hispanic people are meant to be subcontractors. It's sad, but if like you have a really nice big painting company, half of your subcontracting crews are Hispanic. And yeah, it was it was a moment like to realize where like I don't want to be stuck here. I don't want to
Yeah.
be stuck. It's gonna hurt to grow, but I started doing my homework again. I was started getting on when you started uploading the videos on school, and I was like, this is where it starts. And then we turn into DripJobs, and DripJobs was like, oh my god, learning how to set everything up, something that I was avoiding again. And I kept going to my old ways, old ways, old ways,
Yeah.
because I was comfortable being there. I was, and honestly, I wasn't used to growing. I was used to like, oh, the motivation inside me, but like growing hurt all the time, and it still hurts. It still
Yeah.
hurts to grow, you know. But yeah, sometimes I still cry in the shower, but out of good things.
It's a mindset change, right?
Yes.
It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
you've been doing something for so long the same way, and you're not even used to what success looks like because you've never had it before. So when
Yes.
you start getting and seeing the progress, and then okay, this worked. Let me go back and see what else this man has. So you go back to the calls, you go back to the group, and you're like, wow, I implemented this and this worked, right? So what else? And then the more you start seeing those little wins, it just adds up your confidence, and then you start to see, okay, what can I do and push the limits now? Because it's like I've
Yes.
proven it to myself. I feel good about it. It's working. Let me see how far this can go. And that's kind of what you're experiencing right now, right?
Oh
Even when
yes.
you have your sales rep kind of lined up and doing your deals for you, it's still uncomfortable. And you're like, well, what else could I do to kind of delegate, right? And then you just go down that path and it just snowballs. I got a call the other day from one of the guys in our group. He said, Aiden, I woke up at 10:30 today. And I said, that's a good day. And he's like, but here's the thing. All my guys are on jobs. They're all set up. The company's moving. I don't got to worry about anything. And my calendar's locked in. He's like,
Wow.
if I'm sleeping in, there's a reason and I'm allowed to, right? I'm able to do that because of how I have it set up. A year ago, hell no. I'd be stressing up at 6 a.m. like you said. But now it's like everything's set up how I want it. I'm making progress, in different ways and I can control kind of my life again. And it's a frustrating place to get to, right? When you're trying to make all the moves. But once you get there, oh my gosh, it's the
Oh,
best.
oh yes. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you taught me is to build a system for yourself that works for you. That works for you, that works for the company, and that also works for your clients. One of the biggest thing that you have taught me, build a system for yourself, like reps, coaching, like never stop coaching yourself, never stop looking for like how to personally become better for yourself, never stop at where you want to, like this is where I'm comfortable being. And when I started putting your coaching into place, I was like, things started changing. Like there was literally a realization where like my partner said, he's like, hey, in Spanish, that Aiden's coach thing does work. And I was like, oh yeah, it does. Because we're putting it into place. He's like, how does he know that much? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, and he made it like a funny comment. He's like, those gringos are fucking smart. And I was like, and then it was like, and
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
and I was like, hey, because we as Hispanics are trained to work hard, Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Work hard, 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 labor wise, but we are never trained to work like mentally smart, like look things up that you don't know, read about it. And it's like he was just, I need to learn English, I need to become better for myself. No matter how hard we work out in the field, if things were not organized here in the office, it wasn't going to work out there. And
Yeah.
what didn't work out there wasn't going to work here. And whatever didn't work here, it's not going to work out there.
Yep.
So that's what you taught me. And then one of the biggest things that we started talking about recently when the group started growing, like we went from 3 to like what, 60 people now. It's insane. And
A
I
little
was
more
like,
than that, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, I haven't counted. Sorry, I lost track. And they were like, I was just like, leadership. There's no way I could run a company without being, or trying to at least be, a good leader. There was a point last year where I was like, oh my god, I'm going back to my old ways. We did not have any people, like no matter how I kept putting posts up, I could not find good guys to work. Now I know how to find good guys to work, the things you need to ask because of you. But last year I was like, no matter how many ads I put up and now I'm putting ads to hire guys for winter. Like we're getting ready for
Yeah.
Q3 and Q4 and 2026. But last year I was like, I had to work. I had to go prep a house. It was a higher end home. The client spoke no Spanish, so I was like, I had to be there, and I'm covering floors, and I still know how to do it. And I realized how long I haven't been connected to my employees, and my employees were like, I'm having this trouble. My son is sick down in Mexico, and sometimes I was just like, oh, why can't you come to work on Saturday? Okay, okay. So I was like, okay, let me find somebody else. And I was like, man, I was so wrong. I was
Yeah.
so wrong for so long. In my head, I was like, my clients come first because that's where the money comes from. That's where the dough comes. And I was like, I changed my mentality recently because I said, my employees come first than my clients, no
Yep.
matter what, no matter what. Because if I can't have happy employees working for me, I can't have happy
They're
clients.
never going to make
That's
your
it. That's
clients
it.
happy.
Yeah, that's it. So now I check up on my guys and I'm like, hey, Jose, how are you doing today? Well, this, and that. Like, hey, how's your weekend? Hey, are you going to have your kids over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yes, how's everything? Connect with him. Like, you don't have to have like an hour conversation with them. Just connect with them. Even with your clients, even with yourself. Like, when you have a good leader on top, it shows. It really
Yeah.
does show. And I've been working so hard on that, walking away from those bad habits. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
And a lot of leadership also is having the right people influence you, right? Because if you
Yes.
have guys that are young minded or friends that are just gossiping all day, not really trying to
Yes.
do things with their life, it really puts you into a spot where it gets into your head, even if you want it
Yes.
to or not, right? But if you have real guys around you that are talking, about success and how to help you and entrepreneurship and trying to help you in ways that you don't even understand right now, but you will, right? Like guys like Joel, Tanner, Alex, like these people that I allow into my circle, all they do is breed nothing but positivity into me and what I'm doing. And I trust if they have criticism, right? So now I can look at them as examples or people that I can actually look to for guidance and whatnot and inspiration. And now that trickles down to my team, that trickles down to my clients because it's a healthier relationship and we care about each other now. The relationship is there and it's they know that Aiden's growing, we're all growing, right? Myrna's getting better. She's investing in the coaching. She's investing in these different things, and we're all winning because of it. It keeps us more busy. We're going to be able to get paid better, and we can actually be happier working here for this company. So
Oh
it's the
yes.
next level of, like you're saying, that leadership. Like kind of to touch on that. So the other day, I was coaching one of our guys. He's doing 200K plus a month, easy, right? And he
Wow.
goes, Aiden, is that what this looks like? Like I'm working all these hours, blah blah blah. And I said, well, tell me about your team, And he goes, well, my sales rep's 19 years old. My production manager, she's a 41-year-old lady. And I kind of went through it and I said, you don't have leaders on your team that are taking initiative and that take it personally, right? These are guys that are fresh, young. You kind of had to like make it work with them. They're not going to help you at that level. You need leaders. When you're doing 150 plus, that's when like leadership matters, right? Because you can't be babysitting everybody to the next level. They have to take it and run with it so you can just worry about training everybody, what's next, and making sure everything's running smooth. So I think that's what's coming with you right now, and you're actually seeing.
Yes, that's one of the things that I've learned with Joel, and then with the Zoom meetings that we have weekly. It's like you can run your numbers all you want, and numbers can be high up there, but it's like the structure of your company, like the actual base of it. No matter what, like you can have this team, but it's like it all literally runs from you. It
Yeah,
runs through your crew leaders, and then from your crew leaders to your like employees, and from your employees, to your clients. I cannot say how many times I have heard from clients, you have great people on your team, and that makes me very proud. And
yeah,
then I make sure to tell that to my guys, like, hey, you guys are being recognized. Your hard
exactly.
work is being recognized. Whatever.
Bonuses, the whole
Yeah.
nine. Yeah.
whatever BS is going on at home, like you can have a safe place to hear. Like nobody likes to work, like nobody likes to work in general. And it's like, I want them to come into a positive, environment,
Mm.
and then be happy with her. I had to change a lot myself. I
Yeah.
had to learn how to apologize to my crews for like mistakes that I've made. And then it's like, it's a big pill to swallow. Like, hey, I'm sorry guys, I was wrong. I'm working on being a good leader for you guys. Man, you have no idea how hard it it was for me to say that, to even take accountability for that, to take accountability that you're messing up, that you need to change things. It's been hard to do that for me, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
funny, man. Your problems as you get bigger change, and now it's like it's good problems to have, though, right?
oh
These are
yeah, yeah,
great problems. These are what you asked for. So now
yeah,
you get to live it, get the experience, and now apply it for the future. And it's only going to get better. I do have a little exercise for you, real
yeah.
quick. So knowing what you know now, having been through it at every single level, being a sub, being somebody that was struggling and really trying to get the painting business going. Now with the actual team in place, with management, doing the meetings, all that kind of stuff. If you had to do it again from scratch, knowing what you know now, what are like the steps you would take? Give me like 3 to 5 steps or plays you would make right away that would instantly get you to where you want to be.
Let's say, I've been up there and I've been down there. If my company was to kind of fall apart and I would restart, oh yeah, just kind of give me like a spoon and a fork and I'll dig my own eyes out. Trust me, I can do it. um, I would implement everything that I learned from you, the structure, it's so important. Knowing what you taught me, there's no way I cannot go around that and be like, this is how I'm going to start. Basically, how you taught us how to market, how to get out there. One of the biggest thing that you taught me is like, do not take no for an answer. Fight that lead. Fight, go out and look for the jobs. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, leads are coming in. If you're stuck and it's like, I remember at PaintCon, um, I heard, I think I was having a conversation with the guys that are like 2.5, 6.5. And a lot of these guys were like, man, I should have stayed at 2.5. This 6.5 bullshit is too much, man. It's like, the gap between that jump and it's like that's scary, but it's like we as the business owners, we're only always kind of like, what's next, what's next, what's next. And that would be for me like implementing everything you taught me and rebuilding it in a bigger way for
Mm.
myself. Like if I did that good, if I build that company in a good way, I can build it better this time around. So
I feel like that was an easy answer.
yeah, yeah. I would
Give me
build.
some tactical stuff, right? Things that you're like, hey, this works, go do it, right? If you're early on struggling, like speak to somebody like we have another person here and he's like, hey, I'm just getting started. I don't know how to go about it. What are some things that I can do that move the needle for you?
Invest in coaching. There's no way I would never ever start a business without a coach ever in my life again. If I wanted to start a business instead of saving, if I, let's say I wanted to open a freaking ice cream shop, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to start buying everything that takes to build an ice cream shop. And then I was like, nope, I'm going to invest in coaching first. And I did. And it did end up being my route. It's the same with thing. The people, the Hispanic community that has been calling me and it's like, oh, did Lucas work for you? Oh, did that marketing team work for you? I was like, it doesn't work like that. You need to coach yourself. You need to get a coach for you. There's just no way. Like if I was to start a business, coaching, and start the way it should be. Know your numbers, structure your
Mm-hmm.
company, listen to like your coach, to everything that he has to say. Like if it's like this because it
Game
was meant to
plan,
be like yes, it's a plan, it's a structure, money wise, numbers, organization, like we were talking about like having a VA, and it's like how do you, like you're buying back time, and then um you think as a VA like, oh, more money to the company, but it's like you're buying back your time kind of thing.
Yep.
I
Huh?
remember back then when I was talking to you one day when we first started our coaching program. I think it was after Aiden. We were on a Zoom call, and I was like, I'm stressed out, Aiden. I'm stressed out because I wake up. I was not working at that time in the job sites anymore physically, but I was still going to the job sites. I was still taking paint to the guys. I was still, taking the materials that they need. I had to drop off my son at school and then come back and then do invoices. And I was like, it's still not working out.
Mm,
And and then I was like, I'm cleaning the house. And then I think you asked me, and she's like, and then I think you said something about like those 2 hours, 3 hours that you invest in cleaning, hire somebody. Oh, it's going to be more expensive. When I hired a cleaning crew, man, 3 hours that I sat in my desk and got my crap done, those 3 hours that I got for my afternoon, and it's now I'm setting up my Google accounts, my scripts, and then I'm looking into VAs now. And it's like, it's
beautiful.
stressful. It's scary to let that go, but then it's like I'm buying back my time. My sales guy comes back next week in 2 weeks, and it's like I don't even have to go to deal with those estimates. He just sends me the photos, and then it's like, hey, I want to do those, and then I do a nice follow up with the client because I still want to be involved with that, and then we
Mm,
close the job. And yeah, and I closed the job. And being that I have a marketing Facebook, I just have to go out there and do content. Hey, look pretty. This is Myrna, owner of the company.
right.
Hire us, and that's it. And
Love
call it a
that.
day. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny because even the guys right now, because we're growing, with the coaching, and we brought on, Justin as one of our
yeah,
coaches. And the only reason I was confident enough to bring him on, because obviously the biggest thing for me is that relationship, right? Investing in you guys, pouring into you guys, giving you like the step by step and knowing, okay, if I can do that and give you the confidence to do that and show how other people have done it, you're going to be fine, right?
yeah.
Like just kind of going off of that baseline, you'll be fine, kind of regardless of whatever else happens. Just being there and helping you implement step by step is super important. So I did that for Justin, and obviously his life changed. He's building a house. He's doing great. And because he was so bought in, and he like was like, damn, I can now help other people do it. Now he's a coach for us, but it's because he saw it, he did it, he implemented it, and now he's helping other people. So it's really cool. So now we don't hire anybody else that hasn't actually worked with me to be a coach, right? Because you got to know all the systems and stuff. And we're
Mhm.
bringing on one more, which it was a great fit. When we initially talked, this guy he thought I was selling him, but really I just wanted to talk about things and see what had going on. So he felt sold a little bit, and then he ended up joining another program, similar painting, and then he doubled back and he reached out to me and we hopped on a call, and he was on the tools. And I said, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I just had to step in. And he's Spanish, right? So, like you said about the working, and he feels like he needs to be there and in the mix. And I was like, how are you trying to grow this painting business and still painting and whatnot? He's like, oh, well, it's only for a couple hours. They needed me. And I'm like, you're not ready to work with us, as far as like a coach, because he wanted to be a coach. And I was said the only way that I would feel comfortable even like seeing this through is if we actually work together, like I coached you. So we made it happen. We're going through the process right now, and he's making leaps and bounds. He's like, I should have never went with that other program. I should have just went with you.
Oh,
Because he's like, now it's like I'm opening up like perspective that I didn't even consider, and
yeah.
now he's becoming the guy because he has all the potential in the world. Like when you see his stuff, you'd be like, wow, yeah, he has his stuff together. But on the back end, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't right. So we went through it, and now he feels confident. So after these, this coaching implementation, I anticipate to bring him on. So it'd be cool to see somebody
Wow.
that was in it, actually again, that was on the tool stuck, like you said, that had that mentality and has now implemented everything, and we'll see where he ends up. So it'd
The
be cool.
growth. The
Mm-hmm.
growth. Yeah. Talking about coaching programs, like I said, I scrolled down on TikTok, on Google, like painting coaching programs, and then like I found, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to get sued, but anyway, and then it was like texted so many, and half of these people, I'm not going to say female or guys, whatever. It's like, oh, we hopped in a Zoom meeting, and it was like it turned into a sales call, and I was like, no, and it's like, hey, here's the payment option, and it's like I was a good reader at that time of what I wanted to be. Like I just didn't want somebody that was like gonna give me a PDF file and it's like, here, good
Right.
luck.
Mm-hmm.
That's half of the coaching programs that I came across with, it's like, here's a PDF file and then whatever, and then we can get you on an onboarding team, and it's like only a 30-minute call with like miserable people that are working for them, and it's like, I don't feel the energy to grow. I don't feel the energy to be here. I don't even,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I don't even want a painting business anymore. Like, you're making me not even want to be here, bro. And I
Mm-hmm.
took a coaching program, and it's like, man, I wasted so much money on that crap. um a lot of like, oh, pay your ticket for the next Zoom meeting, and it was just, man, it was live recording, and it was like, man, this is so whack. It's like, it's it was sad because it's like money, it was important at that time,
Yeah.
and I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I remember, like, I asked you, it's like, how does your coaching program work? Where it's like, we sit down every week, and I was like, oh, me and you personally, yeah, yeah. And I was like, you're not gonna send like Laura from out of state that barely speaks English. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, like, me and you. So I was like, this is gonna work for me, because I'm more of a person that, like, I need to look at you. And
Yeah.
I remember when we first started that call, you didn't talk about money. You were just like, this is how much it is. You were just like, where are you in life? Like, you cared about me.
Mm.
Like, and then I remember I was just crying, and I was like, man, I'm failing. Like, I go home and cry every day. And I remember you asking me, like, where do you want to be? Like, a lot of people don't even care about that. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we have really great specials for a 6-month program. And it's like, I was like, how much copies of this get handed out to so many people? And what I liked about you, um, from the beginning, is that you cared. Like, you sat down with me and said, where are you in life? Where is your company in life? A lot of these people that I talked to previously, it's like, oh yeah, we'll make you $2.5 million in 2 months. I was like, that's not even realistic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get the hell out of here,
Crazy offers and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And I was like, that's not even realistic. And um yeah, and then I cared that somebody cared about me, asking where I was in life, how I was struggling. And we cared about that for me. Like, we knew that, like, you have that passion at the end of the day. Like, I've seen you, like, from going 2 to 3 clients in a group, from more than 70 of us right now. Like, I don't even who is who anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, people text me on Messenger. I'm not gonna say, like, hey Myrna, how do you get that job? How do you get that job? And it's like, you guys do this, you guys do that.
Yeah.
And then they ask me, like, hey, can I get the copy of your scripts? And
They
then
want to jump to the finish line,
yeah.
right?
And then we
Yeah.
talk about you, and he's like, they're like, people are like, man, Mirtha's one of them. Like, we can sit there and talk for hours because
Yeah.
we connected. And it's like, Hispanic people are coming to me, and I'm able to tell them, like, hey, it's possible to jump out of that subcontracting model. It
Yeah.
really, really, really is.
And our newest coach will be Spanish, so that's good.
See,
Bilingual.
that's good, because that just,
That's
when I
perfect.
showed up to the woman PCA in Florida last year, there was one Puerto Rican girl, and she was not even full Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And it was like, am I the only Mexican here? And I literally was. And I was like, this is crazy. And I talked to the
People
people.
don't know that I'm Puerto Rican.
Really? I didn't even know
You didn't
that.
know that?
No,
Yeah,
I
my
didn't.
my grandpa is literally from Puerto Rico.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a new one
100%.
for me.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
It's
that's
funny.
crazy. Yeah, you do not look Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I'm probably 75-25, 75 Irish.
Wow, did not know that, Aiden.
That's me.
Okay,
That's why I'm a little
we
tanner than most white guys.
yeah, that's so
There's a handful of guys that I still want to work with, but I can't like convince somebody to work with me by,
yeah,
oh, please join, whatever that looks like. I'm more of, look, if it's mutual, if you see the benefit of what we got going on and you buy into us and whatnot, like, I have such a feel on things. That's why I'm so about Justin's a coach because he has been there, done it. I want him to say, hey, this works, right? If you follow X, Y, and Z. I want the next coach to feel that way and have been there. And Aiden literally did this with me and we made it happen. I want that energy to be displayed. I don't want to just turn this into a machine where it's like we hire anybody and we just scale up to the moon, because we can do that. I could make the craziest claims in the world and then put every restriction to kind of back up. Okay, if you don't follow it, you don't get a refund or whatever the case may be. but it means too much to me to make sure that my name is good, in good standing, our name, what we do. And that's what I try to instill to everybody too. Aside from just the coaching, you feel that genuineness into your business too, to where you're like, I need to be better, have more morals, whatever the case may be. Some people are better than others. And even when I see people cutting corners or doing stuff in certain ways, I'll check them. I'll say,
Yeah.
hey, you shouldn't do that. That's bad ethics. Hey, don't do that, you know? And they respect that a lot because they don't get that advice. Because as an entrepreneur, you're on an island. A lot of
Yeah.
times you don't have anybody telling you what to or not to do, you know?
And I feel like that shows up in the group a lot. Like
Yeah,
the way you building everything on the back end, because everybody has to go through the little hoops of your coaching programs. Like this comes first. There's no this, and that, so you can get here. And I feel like that shows up in the group. When I had the chance to talk to a lot of Hispanic people due to this ad, the thing that I told them, like the support that even comes after the coaching program is insane. Like we have guys that are making like at 2.5, we have guys that are like at 900, and we have guys that are like barely starting out. Like there's no judgment here. There's no judgment of where you at in life. If you are here to put your best in it, and I tell the people that I recommend your coaching, if you're not ready to grow, if you're not ready to
yeah,
invest
exactly.
in yourself, might as well just not even waste your money there. Might as well
Hmm.
just kind of stay there. And they looked at me like, yeah, like that's where you're going to be at if you're not investing in yourself, investing in your mind, in knowledge. And yeah, it shows in the group, and I like that because like there's so much information in the group alone where like people bring one thing to the table. We have a question, and this guy like
That's the best because
that's
everybody's in different areas. Everybody's in different lines of work, right? You got guys doing historic homes. You got guys doing commercial. You got new construction. So
oh yeah,
you can literally, if you have any type of project, put into the chat, hey guys, I have this opportunity. Where would you guys be at? What's your approach? Blah, blah, blah. You're going to get 5, 6, 7 guys that'll give you all the details about what you should do to make sure you're good. I
yeah,
love that's one of my favorite parts. And you're like that as well, right? Like I just had a wallpaper job that we don't do a lot. And it was like a specific type of wallpaper, and I was trying to pick your brain on it. And you're like, this is what you got to do, Aiden. This is the exact product, blah, blah, blah. That saves me so many headaches of looking
yeah.
like an a-hole in $1 million property. That alone is amazing. And I'm the guy that's running it.
Because like people are afraid to ask for help, Aiden.
Yep.
Even the big guys show up to all these events, and I'm not even saying names, but anyways, I've seen it. Like I've seen it. Like people that make like 5.5, they're scared to be like, I don't know how to do that.
Yep.
Well, they're scared. They're scared to level down and be like, this is where I started. Well, I don't know how to do that. They're scared to ask for help. They think they got it all together and everything. I talked to Jorge last week, and he was doing this really nice home, and we were going back and forth. We hop on a Zoom meeting, and he was just kind of nervous with the numbers, I think, and then we put it together. He got the job, and then a second job comes around, really nice home, and it's like the lady's just kind of like really let downballing this person, and I told him, it's like cheap lady,
Yeah.
cheap lady. Like you've told me many times, sometimes it's better to let really good jobs go than like, put yourself in a spot where you're going to lose
Exactly.
money, honestly. And that's what you have built us for. Like, I feel like, man, it's been a really long journey, like being with you in the group when we first started, now being here, and then now it's like I don't even know who these people are, because it's like there's so many of us, but it's crazy because every single one of these people come in, and it's like they already been coached by you, and it's like they already know the game. We've
Yeah.
already known the what it comes down to in the group. There, I don't think that I even remember like being negative stuff in that group, or even in the, we have
I'll
you that,
kick people out. And I
yeah,
have before.
we have you that you're there to like, hey guys, let's numbers, let's do this, and it's like, hey Aiden, we should talk about this next week. Hey, I know the right person. Like you already thinking ahead. Then we
Hmm.
have Ryan always trying to argue, like not cutting corners,
The best.
and then the best. Ryan just always trying to pick a fight. I'm just kidding,
Hmm.
right? And then it's like he's there like more of the logic side, like let do this, and then we have Sam, like full
Hmm.
of energy, motivation, and then we have like KB painting highly, and it's she's talking about like, hey, how she started with like furniture flipping, and it's like we both
Similar
have that
story.
history. Like this is kind of we always kind of like we have a big table, and it's like this is my grain of salt, and then like this is my grain of salt. This is
Yeah.
what I offer, but it's because we started from you. Like there's nobody that went into that group where they talk to you, and it shows. It shows that what you think and what you implement in our minds shows in that group, because
Mm,
it really has helped us grow, you choosing the right people for that group in so many ways. And that's why I go back to saying those things. Like it really helps surrounding yourself with people might not have the same goal as you, but the same mentality of growing, no bullshitting
exactly.
around helps, honestly. And that's what you taught me. Like, sometimes going out with your friends on a weekend, and it's like I have to sit down and grow. I have to sit down
Sure.
and, I had I have my sister telling me all the time, like, hey, you need time for yourself. But that time for myself, I'm like reading a book. I'm in my computer, like looking at our videos, growing. I'm just so hungry. I'm
It's
hungry
amazing.
to be somebody.
Like I said, it's just the start, right? Like I
Yeah,
wasn't just saying that, right? I really believe that you're just scraping the surface on what you're doing. I mean, you're being a part of these bigger programs, these bigger things, right? Out there with the PCA and all these other, I think Nextdoor just hit you up or something like that. So
they
there's
did.
gonna be there's gonna be a lot of opportunities that
Yeah,
are gonna
yeah.
come your way.
They did.
So
And I think the number one question that I get asked, because I stopped talking to a lot of people that I was not having healthy relationships with. And I feel like that's one of the most important things as a business owner that you have to let go. If it's family, if it's like friends that are doing you no good, learn how to say no, learn how to put that ground. And if they don't share the same values with you, let them go. Like,
yeah,
do not be afraid to eat alone. And a lot of those people that I have run into, you're like, I've never said I didn't want to talk to him, but I just kind of set my distance. And they look at my Google page and my post on Nextdoor. It's like, hey, I seen you there. Hey, I seen your ads on Facebook. Hey, I seen you on Instagram. And they ask me, like, how did you do it? That's the number one question. Like they think it's a magic key that it gets handed to you, and then it's not. It's not. All the people that I have talked to you about your coaching program, I've told them, if you're not ready to grow, if you're not ready to sit down by yourself and be like, this is the thing that I need to change, this is the thing that I'm doing wrong. If you're not ready for like criticism from other people, if you can't accept that, you're not ready to grow.
mm,
Honestly, if you're not ready to let go of like this because I'm scared, you're not ready. You're not ready.
mm.
There's no point of. I talked to a guy last week. He's like, oh, but the ads. He kept going back to the ads, to the ads, to the ads. And I was like, you keep going back to the ads. You say you have the money to pay ads. You say you have the money to send a sales guy, but you do not have the money to invest in a good coaching program. And we talk for like 2 hours. And he's like, yes, that's where I need to learn. And then it's like,
I
we
think
go
even
back to
people like there's a coaching program stigma, right? When people hear that, they almost feel like gimmicky. They
yeah,
feel like, oh, well, what am I going to, learn from a guy that's just going to talk to me, right?
yeah,
It's more of you are paying for real experience, real software, real systems, real framework, strategies, things that you could implement into your business on a week to week basis
yeah.
and see the difference. Get your time back, right? Like I'm helping you achieve things in business that most people want to take because they're stubborn years and years to figure out and maybe get there, right? We're speed running it. You're learning from somebody that I literally document building a painting business right now. I mean, you can go find 10 videos on YouTube of me just going, hey, I'm out here closing deals. I'm out here recruiting people. Like, I am documenting the journey because one, I know that I can do it. But two, it's like I want people to see raw, real, and see what's happening in real time so they can get an idea of, oh shit, I can do that.
Oh
I,
yeah.
can, I don't have to do all the sales. I don't have to manage all the projects. I don't have to go run around and grab paint for all my guys. I can actually set up ways that can be delegated, right? And work for the company. I can actually make real margins and have a profit and go on a vacation with my wife. Wow, I didn't know. And these are the things we're helping guys do. And yeah, you just got to get out of your own way and get rid of that stigma.
I remember when you brought in Ben. I don't know if I messaged him or he messaged me, and then like we talked for like 3 hours, And one of the things that Ben said, he's like, man, I'm old. He's like, I've been in this painting industry for so long. I've seen everything, and then him being um a painter with no internet and then like word to word, it was harder. Joel said one day, you guys have so many tools today in your hand, being the internet, being social media,
Yeah.
because like the old school painters didn't have that. It was mostly word to mouth, like different ways around that. And I remember Ben saying, he's like, does this Aiden guy work for you? I was like, Ben, we can talk about this all day. And, and then he's like, I think we talked a couple of days later, or I don't know if he said that same day. He's like, you have no idea how much money I've invested. I have bought this thing that it works and it never worked. And it's like so much money thrown away. And it's like, yeah. And then one thing that I saw about your program, Aiden, is like I don't want a guy that's never held a brush before. There's so many guys, so many coaches out there that they just think they're coaches, and it's like it's so easy to just go on ChatGPT and create a coaching program, and here it is, start teaching it,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and it's not even a coach anymore. It's a trending thing,
Yeah.
So when I seen your TikToks, I remember you were like, I was there, I was there, and I was like, if this guy's been there, he knows what's up. Like he knows how
Mm-hmm.
bad it hurts to be there in the job, and it's like if he made it, I can make it, and it's like that's what made me look into you, like because I was like, he's not coming from a place where like he had it all handed to him and he
Yeah.
was there feeling what we feel, the like how
Dude,
hard it is to let that go.
Ben was doing 60 to 70,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
And he was living to just race on the weekends. Like he didn't want to do anything else but race because he was so overwhelmed with work. He would get jobs and look at them in his email and not do anything about them. And just he was too overwhelmed, right? And he was doing
Right.
that for 10 years. A decade of doing the same amount of money, same grind, and you're just like, dude, I live for the weekend because I don't want to do this business thing. When
Wow.
he joined our program, he had like a revelation. And I remember him being so motivated every week and be like, he got his juice back. His
Yeah.
guys were checking out on him. They were
Wow.
like, hey, I don't know if it's working. And it was a constant battle. He just did his best month, 220,000. And
Oh my
he's just like,
god.
dude, you changed my life. My business is booming more than ever. I have guys that actually care about the company. My brand is amazing. I have an office. Like we're doing things that I dreamt of that I never thought I'd do because I was spinning my wheels for 10 years.
Wow.
Finally, he made the move and he's the best.
I
All our
remember
guys are the best.
all the people in there have grown, even from the guy that's making more than this other guy's has grown. I remember he was
Yeah.
so happy because he moved like his shop into a bigger shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we mentioned something about you. It's like, oh, this guy does work or something. And it was like, just like, Ben, I think we just have to trust the process. We're talking about like how we have accountability, how it's like going to the gym,
Yeah.
it's so much like going to the gym. Like you can go there 7 times a week, 3 hours, but if you come back and your nutrition is not in line of what you're doing in the gym, it doesn't
Yeah.
even work. And that's why I tell my Hispanic people out there that I have talked to, I'm so proud of my people saying that, like, oh yeah, hire a Hispanic crew, they're the best, um, I'm proud of that, but it's like we are so trained to work hard, 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 hard. And then the people that are the Hispanic people that really, really want to get out of this business, out of the painting, and it's like they don't know how to, of like how to hang the brush. They don't, I remember last year, I in Halloween, I recommended a client to you. I don't know if he ever called you back. He probably never didn't, but it's like he wanted to ask me like, oh, where do you get all those big jobs from? And then he kept telling me, oh yeah, I'm good. I was like, I don't even have time to like um for more jobs. Like I'm turning down jobs. He was like proud of that. And I was like, you're proud of that? He's like, yeah. And I was like, the mentality, I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
should be ashamed. Like you should be sad that you're doing that, because not only you're overworking your guys, you're gonna start messing up. You're gonna
Yeah.
start having a lot of touch ups because you know what, you're only giving 3 days to this guy to finish this house, and then you have to move on to the next one. It's like you've outgrown your company, and we were talking about you, and he's like, he's always just talking about the money. I was like, it's not all about the money. Like it's about like who does your estimate. It's like, oh, I do. I speak English. Okay, and then who comes back and does the invoices? Oh, I do. And then I seen his invoices like, hey, send me a copy of your invoice. And it's just said like whatever. Let's just say Pedro's painting
Yeah.
5,000. I was like, you have no structure, no logo, no here. You're just the guy that like I can, if I competed with you, I can turn you down. Like if me and you competed
Exactly.
in a home, like in a custom home, easily. You're
You'd
like
be
a cookie
toast.
to me. Oh yeah, he's like I can eat you alive right now. And he was like, you know, he kind of got offended, but I was like, you need that structure, man. You need that
Mm-hmm.
structure where it's like it begins from here to here to here to here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he ever called you back or anything, but like I'm proud of Myrna because she has that hunger, and I feel that only in my strongest opinion, only the people that are really ambitious, that are freaking hungry, that are like, no matter what, I'm gonna get there, are the ones that are actually join the coaching program. Like,
Yeah.
there's other people that are like, I'm good here. I'm good at
Yeah.
making 20K, but like I can already, if I talk to somebody that's like, I don't even have a bye. Like I don't even want
Yep.
to
Yep.
waste my time on that. But I can
Exactly.
see the light in somebody's eyes where they're like, I have people in next door reaching out to me like, hey, you're a woman owned business. I have some podcasts doing, coming up, because of I'm a woman owned business. And it's like, if you guys don't have that spark, if you don't have that hunger, I don't even want to sit down and eat with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. There's no way.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you hopping on. We're kind of nearing that hour mark, and it's been awesome. And we can go for days, you know. I got a couple guys that are holding out on the podcast, and
Who
I'm
is
like,
it?
bro, hop on the podcast with me. I want to hear about your story and all that. And they're like, nah, we're waiting until I can say I went from like, because they're already, doing really good, right?
Yeah.
Like I got a guy who, he's at like 800K for the year. He's like, once I hit a million, bro, and we can say that I went from 30K a month to a million, he's like, then we're good. I'll hop on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't hop on ahead of time. You're holding out on me. There's a couple guys like that, but we'll get them. They're waiting for it to be like a smacker of an episode, you
But
know?
even last year when we did our last podcast back in Florida, to compare to this year, I've grown so much. Like
That's
I was doing
awesome.
commercial last time, all subcontract, not mostly subcontracting, but now it's like, man, I subcontract for one company, and it's because I like
Mm.
them and they pay me good. But
And it's
that's
not
about
even the
it.
subcontract of what people think of where it's like, oh, you get a payout or anything like that. It's like, no, these are your prices and you guys establish a relationship and only your company can
Yeah,
handle that type of
yeah,
work. It's like huge jobs.
yeah. But it's amazing to see our growth. You and everybody in that group,
It's good
everybody
to
in that
see
group.
you and what you're doing.
Thank
But
you.
we'll wrap up here. If you have any last things to say, any comments, anybody out there,
I just wanted to say thank you to every person in the group in there, because everybody has brought their input. Everybody has brought, their struggles. And it's not easy talking about struggles. It's not easy talking about numbers and money. And everybody brings something positive to the group. And thank you for building that, for taking care of us. Because at the end of the day, those Zoom meetings every week, it's out of your time. And it's like you're taking the time to build us even after you coached us.
yeah,
So I would always be grateful for everything that you have done for me. The coaching program, yes, it's there, but like all those times where like you have hopped on a call with me and it's like, let's do this, let's throw those numbers around. And it's
mm.
like when it got to the point where like, Myrna, I already taught you this, go back to that. I was like, oh man, it's getting real. I have to take accountability.
I
Thank
thought
you
you were
for
gonna say. I thought you were gonna say thank you to all the haters.
man, I don't have a lot of haters. Maybe secret haters, but I think I've really involved myself with positive people, just like you've always said. Involve yourself with people that are just as hungry as you, and
hmm
it's what it comes down to. And I think you built a group for us. At the end of the day, and it's like it's so cute because when we were in the other group Discord, he's like, you guys are growing, and it's like we're like your kids. We're growing. We're like you guys are graduating. It's amazing because it's like, man, this guy went from like 20K to like 40K. When I started with you, I was at $4,000 a month. And then when I
hmm
started taking your coaching program, we were like 16,000, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm done, I'm good here. But then it's like you involved me with people that were like at higher numbers, and I was like, damn, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
used to seeing those numbers. So yeah, thank you for building us a good group that we can feel comfortable with, you know.
Yeah. Well, shout out to you. You're awesome. Appreciate you hopping on, and much more success and growth to come. I'm looking forward to it. And where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram or on Facebook, Myrna Solorzano, or TikTok as well, Myrna Solorzano. I'm starting to get the groove of social media. Just like you say, you got to get out there, right? But it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit her up if you have any questions. You want to, pick her brain, anything like that. She is a wealth of knowledge and she'll talk for days, guys. So,
Thank you,
all
Aiden.
righty. Till the
Okay.
next one.
Bye bye.